That will work. Yeah, that will
Um,
work.
Perfect.
How's my hair?
Perfect. How's my
Okay.
hat?
It's okay.
Yeah.
Y'all don't have brushes in the UK? Okay, so let's go.
Let's go.
One, two, three. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sunday interview. Now, I'm talking to one of the biggest podcasters out there in the UK. Probably don't know her here in the United States, but in the UK,
Airplane mode is your favorite mode.
yes. All right, three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sunday interview. Shut up. Ladies, one, two, three. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sunday interview. Now, I'm probably talking to one of the biggest podcasters out in the UK right now. You probably don't know her in the United States, but this lady right here, she's definitely a go-getter. She's an entrepreneur. She's a life coach. And be honest with you, she doesn't take a lot of crap from men. Why is she on this show? I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor, it's my privilege to introduce to you all the way from the UK, Nat Rich. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
First question. I saw when I said your name, you looked at me kind of funny and you were like, did I say your name right? It's Nat Rich.
I hope so. It's Nat Rich. It's actually Natalie Richardson is my longer version, but everyone knows me as Nat Rich. But I don't have a problem with my name. Do you? Is that all right?
Yes, I do. It should be Nat Awesomeness.
Nat Rich. Is that how you say it? Nat Rich.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm country. We talk a little different. We talk a little different out here in the South. But yeah, I was right. We were talking. You was like talking about taking the piss out, and I was like, yeah, that's how you. Yeah. I love interviewing people from the UK because your slang is so different from ours. It's like piss and piss and let's take a piss. I
wasn't actually taking a piss. I was taking the piss, which is different. Because if you're taking a piss, that means you're going for a wee. But if you're taking the piss, that means you're just joking around with someone. You're just taking the piss out of them.
Is it true that taking a wee is better when a female says it?
Yeah, if a guy says I'm just going to take a wee, I don't really care if he takes a wee or not. If a girl says it, it's just normal. But yeah, most guys say they're taking a piss.
I have to go to the UK one day. I think I will fit in perfectly.
Well, it's raining. It's raining here, which is typical apparently of the UK. From everywhere else in the world, they always think it rains here. And today it is living up to that. It's pouring it down outside.
It's actually, oh my goodness, it's actually raining out here too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It's not just us then that has piss poor weather. No, it's not just us.
No, we have piss. See, there you go. It's piss. Everything's piss. We're going to it's we and piss.
If anybody's listening to this podcast, sorry, we're swearing quite a lot, but we'll try and rein it in. Excuse the pun.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, not only is she a podcaster and an entrepreneur, she is also a comedian.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Depends who I'm talking. Yes. Depends who I'm talking to, really. If I've got a vibe, then I can be funny. Otherwise.
Yes. Speaking of having a vibe, I'm going to break the third wall. So we had a little bit of confusion about 3 months ago. I actually looked you up and asked you to be on my show. You hit me up and said, I want to talk to you like a pre-interview. Now, I've done pre-interviews for podcasts, but I never did a pre-interview for my show. Like, I never like asked somebody to do a pre-interview so the person can come on my show. It was a little weird for me. But what the concept that I think we were kind of missing bases here, because you was kind of interviewing me to be on your show, and you was interviewing. I was trying to. I don't know what the hell I was doing. I was just like, hey, do you want to come on the show or what?
I just thought it'd be interesting to see, because I was talking to you and I thought maybe I had you in mind for a show. Actually, once you contacted me, I thought it'd be interesting to see, because you were quite a character, and I just thought, you know what, maybe I could get him on one of my shows with someone else, but we've postponed everything at the moment, so it isn't off the table. It's just we've not been doing it at the minute, and but that's what was happening. It was a miscommunication. That's all.
Well, it's not postponed because it's happening right now. I finally got her on the show.
Yeah, you got me.
And it's a lot. Yeah, I got you here, girl. There's a lot of stuff that I want to talk to you about, because I was just listening to one of your shows on YouTube. Matter of fact, your YouTube page and my YouTube page, we're both starting out on YouTube right now. So we're both babies at this. Tell me, what made you want to, before I get to the story that I was listening to, what made you want to get on YouTube? Because you already was a successful podcaster. So
for YouTube, I love video format, and I used to have a YouTube channel years ago, and then I kind of came off. And I don't have any other social media. I don't have Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram. I'm not interested in any of it, but I do like YouTube for the format. And I just thought it's the best way for me until I got my TV stations, which I now have in place. I thought this is going to be the best place for me to kind of do video content and just connect with people and just have conversations, because I love having conversations, but visually, not just audio based. And YouTube was the go-to at the time.
Now you're saying you got TV stations. Like, do you use Vimeo or some type of?
No, so we are going live on Roku and on Amazon Fire Stick and on Apple TV.
Wow, that cost you a little bit of money, didn't it?
It has cost me a little bit of money, but yeah, I'm happy. I don't mind. We've got good content coming out over the next kind of 12 months, and I want a good home for it that doesn't distract people by having to go on social media for it.
The reason I said that is because I looked into it too, and I was like, no, that's okay. I'm just gonna stick to YouTube, because us poor people, we gotta stick. We got to stick to YouTube. I'm sorry. It's like 15. One company told me just to be monitored.
I'm not loaded.
No, you laugh at me. It's cool.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm not loaded when you're like us poor people. And I'm like, I'm not loaded in the sense of people think because my name's Nat Rich that I'm like money bags.
Girl,
and I'm not. I see a good option, and I think that's what I want to go for. I'm going to make my life work around what it is I want to go for. So I don't spend money on alcohol or anything else. If I'm going to spend it on something I want it to return, it's a good investment. So I thought, why not?
Girl, you lying. You're so rich. The Queen asked you for a loan.
Yeah, that would be good. I'd definitely add on interest. A lot of interest.
Yes.
On that one. And that'd be really cruel with the terms and conditions as well. I'd be like, well, we pay all of that tax and all of that monarchy stuff, so I'm going to do a loan, and it's very expensive. I take it
some of you English people don't like the Queen. What is going on? I mean,
I've never met her, so I can't really call on that. I know what we have to pay, and I know what charges there are, and I know how things work in the sense of finance in the UK. That's not comfortable, but I've never actually met the Queen, so I can't really pass a judgment on whether she is nice or not. She's never come round for tea. Can't really judge her. So yeah, I've never met any of the royals.
Something tells me we're gonna leave this subject alone, because when you start talking about the Queen, English people get mad. It's almost like to the yes. You should have saw the looks on your face. You were like, I know how much we gotta pay. I know how.
We do, but it does the same in every country. So let's leave the Queen out of it.
So I was listening to this story on one of your shows, and it was about psychedelics, drugs for us uneducated people. And you was talking about, right before you came on, you was talking about tripping with your dad. Please share that story with us.
Yes, I have tripped with my dad. It was a great day. Actually, it was an evening, but it was brilliant. I was in Ibiza. We did mushrooms, and we had an amazing time. And it's not something my dad does all the time. He's done it once. I'm not sure if he'd do it again. I probably would if I begged him enough. But he wanted to try it, wanted to have that experience, and wanted to give it a go to see what all the fun was about. And he found out and loved it. And it was just magical. I mean, to say that you've tripped with your dad, I really want to trip with my mom, but it's never going to happen, really. I don't think. She was a school teacher at the time and never wanted to do anything that could damage that reputation. So fair play, but I would have loved to have had it with my mum and dad, but no, it was just my dad, and it was just mushrooms. It was about 3 grams of mushrooms for my dad. I did about 6, I think. And yeah, we were with a friend of ours, and it was beautiful. It was such a beautiful experience. Yeah.
So I was just wondering, what do you think about when you're tripping with your father? What happened? Like what kind of stuff went on in the mind while your dad's like staring at the wall?
My dad's like one of my best mates. So we were outside, and we were just giggling. We were just laughing at everything. Like his comprehension of things when on mushrooms was obviously slightly different from, he was like 70 at the time. So, you know, his whole life he'd grown up with one idea of what reality was. But when you do mushrooms, you know, you all tune into the reality that's actually there. And you're all in the same reality, and you're all seeing the same things, and that's because it's really there. So my dad was trying to wrap his head around the context of, you know, we're not just in this reality, there are other realities at the same time. So that was quite good. It was like, you know, watching your dad trip on mushrooms is one of the funniest things I've ever done. And it was really heartwarming, because we were just having good conversations. We were listening to music. My friend was playing crystal bowls, as in like a sound healing session while we were there. And we were just all really high. You know, time doesn't exist when you're on shrooms and you just off in another world. We were just laughing and talking about whatever came up. But I can't fully remember all of the conversations either, because you're so present. There's no need to remember anything as such, unless, you know, it's a kind of a message, as it were. But my dad figured out the understanding of life, I think, at that moment. It's really interesting. But it was very therapeutic, pretty chilled. We just giggle, laugh all the time.
I imagine it is very interesting, because I could not imagine doing drugs with my father. Like, I'm afraid he'll have a Vietnam flashback or something. Like, no.
It can. This is the thing, you know, no one can guarantee you where you're going to go, but if done in the right context and in the right way and with the right people, you can have a very safe experience, and, you know, things can be developed and understood. But if you're not in the right frame of mind, you're not with the right people, you've got wrong music on, you've got the wrong drugs, if you've had too much to eat, there's so many factors that can take you in the wrong way. I'm not advocating that anyone takes them. I'm just saying I had a good experience on them, and it's entirely up to the listener if they want to go and do it. Not every parent will want to do that with their child. Not every child will want to do that with their parent. But I happen to have the experience of being able to do that, and it was epic.
And I do advocate you do it around me, because I will. I'm telling you right off the bat, you're not going to have a good experience with me.
No, don't do it with him. Don't do it.
I'll tell you a story real fast. Somebody got sloppy drunk one night, and this person was chasing snakes around his house. So
this sounds terrible.
Oh, what was terrible is that the fact that I was there, because I was like, get it.
Oh no, you're one of those horrible people that winds people up on a trip. Hey. Never do mushrooms with this man. Whoever you are, ever you're listening, never do them with this man, because this is the man that you will send you mental.
The bad part was when I threw my belt at him.
Oh, that's cruel but funny at the same time. No,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
bless this person, whoever he is. I hope he's still alive and not, snuck off somewhere.
Yeah, he's still alive. See, the thing about drugs and psychedelics, I like to be in control. I'm a very control freak, and I think some people would disagree with this statement. However, I feel it's true. With alcohol, I feel like I'm in complete control of everything. With stuff like mushrooms and LSD and
They're not in control.
yeah, you're not in control. And once you're on that roller coaster, you can't get off till it's time to get off.
So
You know, with alcohol, you can just, I mean, for me personally, I'm sober now, but for me, if I was drunk and I need to just get undrunk, I could just get undrunk. Now, of course, you're not gonna feel very good, but you can function unless you was drinking tequila and then you talked. But however, with something like mushrooms or LSD, I mean, once you're on that ride, you're on that ride, and you can't just. And once you say stop, nobody's listening.
No, you have to be, you have to be in the right frame of mind in order to take that, and you have to just be really careful, not mixing it with anything else. It's, I'm quite a strong character in myself, and with what I'll do it very respectfully. I'd never take too many. I kind of know my limits, and I'm not just going to play around and go, oh yeah, just why not, and just carry on. I don't drink. I haven't taken chemical drugs, and mushrooms are not chemical drugs. If anyone who's listening thinking what, but I don't take chemical drugs anymore. I haven't done since 2011. I haven't taken alcohol since 2014. For me, they're dangerous. They're the next level dangerous. They have whole other bag of problems that go with them. But with psychedelics, depending on who you are and where you are and how you feel, can depend on your experience. So, I don't advocate them, but I certainly wouldn't be taking cocaine or ecstasy or MDMA ever again, and I'd never drink again. And I can say never because I've got zero attraction to it, because I just don't. I think it's one of the worst things on the planet, and it's the one that's available to everyone.
Well, I mean, that's one of the I got off. I stopped drinking because of blood pressure. It wasn't that I chose to I'm gonna clean my act up. No, it's the doctor said, hey, I think your drinking days are over. Your blood pressure is like 240 or 180. So,
wow.
I think you're gonna probably die. It's like, nah, I'll be okay. So now my diet is sushi. And I'm not talking about the bad sushi. I'm talking about like the tuna and rice or avocado and it's fish and vegetables is my diet now. So but the fun times are over. You're very entertaining. You seem very easy to talk to. But we do have a lot of difference of opinions, especially with the show with toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Explain to the audience what the hell toxic masculinity is, because I mean, it's a term in the United States. I know what it is. Everybody's watching what it is. I personally don't believe in it, but
okay. So this is the line. Okay. So you have masculinity, which is, what most people would believe a father figure as such. Most people would look up to a father figure, or what they'd like to look up to as a father figure, and think masculine man, protective of their woman, does all the things, a masculine man would do by whatever standards that they hold that to be true. When there's a toxic masculinity involved, toxic is an unhealthy version of a masculine. There is an unhealthy level of ego. There's an unhealthy level of aggression. There's an unhealthy level of chauvinism, judgment and belittling of feminine, the female. And it's not, when people say, I don't believe in toxic masculinity, have you, and I'm sure you have you ever seen Back to the Future? Yeah?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Can you remember the character Biff?
Yes.
Okay, so Biff is the big dude that drinks a lot, that slaps the girl's ass, that doesn't really take no for an answer, that pushes himself into a woman, even though she's like, oh, I'm not really interested. I'd rather have Marty, and wants to go off in that direction. He's not taking no for an answer. He's beating up Marty. He's the one that's going to do all of the aggressive stuff. When they go into the future, he's sat in the jacuzzi, he's with the women, he's like excess masculine, excess show off, excess here I am, look at me, all about the money. There is levels of toxic masculinity that go on a different scale. He's the ideal version of what toxic masculinity is. And a lot of people get angry because of the word toxic masculinity comes out around the same time as all of the other woke shit that we've got going on, which most people are like, oh, enough already. You know, I can't deal with all these framings of words for different things, because we have apparently too many genders. We have apparently too many different ways of looking at who we sleep with. We have all these different words that are now coming out that we are allowed to say and we're not allowed to say. That doesn't take away from the fact that there are toxic masculinity traits, the same as there's toxic feminine traits, in the sense that if I was dating you and I was manipulative and I was controlling and angry and rude to you, and I'm not a healthy expression of a really nice, loving, nurturing female, I'm a toxic version of a feminine. Toxic isn't a trait that, you know, is just one trait. It's a combination of traits that are grouped together that show you in a light that is unhealthy for the other person to experience. Does that make sense? That's all it is. So to say it doesn't exist, you will know that there's a dickhead at your school that you can't stand, that probably bullied somebody at some point. That was a toxic masculine trait.
Okay. So allow me to retort.
Retort. Go for it.
Yes. I know smart words.
Retort.
Yeah, so we're talking about Biff. See, you said that was a toxic masculinity.
Quite a toxic character, yes.
Okay, see, Biff was an asshole. Okay,
yes.
so hold on. He was a bully. Okay. That's not being toxic masculinity. That's just being and a bully. Now I know women that are just like Biff, you know, assholes, and they are bullies. What is that called? Toxic bitchiness? I mean, why does everything? It's just like what you said. You know, right now we got so many terms. You know, people think there's more than two genders. People think that they're woke. I'm like, yeah, I'm woke too. I woke up around 6 a.m. this morning.
An asshole is one word you could call toxic masculinity. It doesn't mean that it's either or. It's a different expression, a different way to say the same thing. Yes, Biff was an asshole. We all know assholes, but they are not assholes just because they're assholes. Their traits of being an asshole actually come because they've had toxic relationships in the past that now allow them to be that expression in today. So they'll have a story behind them that explains that Biff didn't get enough love when he was younger, or Biff got abused when he was younger, or Biff got beaten up. So there's a toxic, misplaced emotion from his past that brings it up to today, which makes him what you call an asshole. But actually what happens is there's toxic masculinity traits because he wasn't brought up to be a better version of himself. That's all it is. It's not something for people to get angry about toxic masculinity or femininity. All it means is there's an unhealthy expression of the feminine trait or the masculine trait from within you. And that's looking at it in a basic way. But why people get angry about toxic masculinity and toxic femininity is because they don't like the fact that we've made up new words for things that were already there, like asshole or bitch. But it's a healthier way of saying arsehole or bitch. But there's no difference in between an arsehole being Biff and a toxic masculinity expression from Biff. One in the same. There's just a new word for it. Obviously, there's a lot of new words for lots of things right now, and it's annoying for people. I get that, but you can't take away the fact that there is actually a lot of toxic masculinity in the world, as is there's a lot of feminine toxicity as well.
So let me ask you this. We talked for, I'm keeping in time because
cool.
Nat is very busy. So I'm keeping an eye on the time. So let me ask you this. You talked to me for 25 minutes now. We're actually 30 minutes now. Would you consider me having toxic masculinity just based off 30 minutes of a conversation?
I don't think you've expressed any toxic masculinity towards me or anything else. I think you've probably joked about being a wind-up merchant when you're on shrooms, but that's not toxic masculinity. That's just you having fun, probably not for the other person. But I don't think you've expressed anything that is toxic as of yet, or that I would find derogatory in any way.
What would you do to someone, to a man that has that toxic masculinity, or okay, I'll call him an asshole, but we'll go your route. Okay. So how would you interact with somebody with toxic masculinity?
Well, for me, I understand it very clearly, and I've studied it a lot, and I've experienced it in past relationships. And I now know that it's actually not a reflection of me. It's a reflection of how they grew up. So for me, I'm separate from it and I understand it. So I can see why they're doing that. So I've got a little bit more compassion for someone in that scenario, because I know that their display of behavior is only based on how much they're hurting inside. So for me, it doesn't bother me as much. If they're really aggressive, I'd be moving out of the situation. I'd be getting away from the person if they were really, angry and quite volatile. But at the same time, I've also, and this is not me thinking I'm, the hardest person in the school, but I've trained in security. I've worked on doors before at nightclubs. I've been in many situations that become toxic, and also at the forefront of fights in many occasions. And that stuff, for some reason, I don't know why, doesn't make me want to run away. If anything, I lean into them because I know that I can help solve those situations. So I don't have, if there's something going on or a problem, I'm in. Like, I'm not out, I'm in. And I can try and solve that situation, where many people don't know how to communicate in that situation or how to act. But yeah, so I don't really find it as a problem, because if, even if it's directed at me, it's still not my problem. It's theirs.
If you and me had a reality TV show,
yeah,
we would make millions, because you're obviously going to do drugs. I'm obviously going to be in the house. And then I have to totally have to lock my door, because you're going to be all about this. And I'm like, nah, lady, nah.
Yeah. I'm going to find you so attractive. It's going to be really hard for me not to go there.
Your condescending attitude is just an act.
I know.
So, but the one thing that she ain't lying. She's so not digging me, y'all. Hey, the one thing I saw about the toxic masculinity episode. The one thing, I'm not insulting nobody. It's okay. It's kind of an insult, but I don't mean to disrespect anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But however, while I was watching the show, I kind of felt like the three gentlemen that you had on the show
mm-hmm.
were the type of guys, if somebody broke into your house and you were dating down, they were actually, or married to one of them, they would be hiding behind you when somebody was breaking the house, asking you to go downstairs and check it out. I had that vibe about them. Now, I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
I'm going to say something. So the three guys that I did that show with are three guys that have done a lot of work on processing their emotions and working through their own shame, toxic masculinity, whatever you want to call it, their own traits. So they don't express any anger or any kind of overbearing masculine strength in any way, because there's no need to in that environment when we're on a podcast. Taken out of context, you couldn't say that if something went down, none of them would stick up for me in a house situation, because they've all worked with their anger a lot and know when to use it and when not to, because anger is not a bad thing either. It's just, as long as it's not been expressed on someone's head, but it's the way that they carry themselves. There's no reason for them to look like they'd take their gun out and shoot someone and stick up for someone, because they don't need to be in that energy all the time. So, but there are certain people out there that would look like, oh yeah, I'd save you, and that's great. But those guys, I would beg to differ. Having known those guys, I would say that if there was an intruder in the house, I'd be extremely safe. And at the same time, I also, not needing, it's not that I'm, oh my God, I'm so helpless, I need a man to be able to look after me. if the situation arose that I was the person that was able to stop something like that happening, I'd just do it anyway. I don't think it's a masculine or feminine job. I just think it's, if someone comes into the house and shit goes down, who's there first and what can you do about it? That's it.
I'll be hiding behind you.
You can stand behind me. You can go and get my gun.
You can't have a gun in the UK. What are you talking about? You don't got no gun. Okay. You got a gun? Oh man, no, for real. I'm not lying. I was probably, I'm talking. First of all, I did not say they wouldn't. I said I felt. But honestly, I would never lie to you. I would stand behind you. I would go downstairs. I would tell you to go downstairs and check it out because I'm not getting out of bed. Straight up.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm not. If you hear a noise,
this is implying that we're sharing a bed. You'd have to call me because I.
No. Whoa. That's that toxic masculine thing that you have. No, I didn't say we were sharing a bed. I said you will have to wake me up. Now you're implying that we were sharing a bed.
Oh, I see.
All I know in my head, you was knocking on my door. Okay. Hey, Joey. Wake up. You have to go downstairs and check out this noise. Where's you got a filthy head. Are you on shrooms now? Are you?
This is why I said it would be interesting to talk to you on a podcast. And I just said yes, because you're just random. And I was like, I like random conversations because sometimes conversations are so boring and staged and you're like question after question after question. I don't really know where this conversation's going or why we're having it, but I'm loving it anyway. So I'm cool with it.
Well, as long as you're loving it. So what do you like to do in the UK to have a good time? Because American and United Kingdom is a little different. But, down here in the South, I live in Alabama,
Alabama.
We real tired. Yeah. That's an interesting question. What do people in the UK, what's y'all's impression or what do y'all think about Americans these days, especially people in the South?
I think the general thing in the past is that we've been given an impression that the people in the South are a little bit kind of behind or a little bit, not necessarily that educated. Personally, when I've ever met anyone from the South, they're way more fun. Like they're more real, they're more live, they're more fun. I don't have this stereotypical view of like what most people would call a Trump supporter, because I've met lots of people who are Trump supporters that aren't horrible people. I think the press like to pretend that everyone in the South is a particular way. And I don't really have a judgment. I think I'm trying to remove all my stereotypes, and everyone I'm meeting is surprising me and making me see things differently. So in terms of what UK people think of America, I think y'all are waking up. You are waking up in a great way, and I think you're coming together in a powerful way, and I think that there's more people waking up than before, and it's interesting to see because it's important at this time for people to step up and to kind of own their own opinions and their freedom and to kind of step forward. But the press doesn't display it very well, but I don't look at the press either, so it's like I don't really watch the news. So, and it's very rare I get to speak to Americans unless I have them on my podcast.
Well, you're on the CTS right now, and you get to talk to the ultimate American.
Ultimate American,
the ultimate, the toxic masculine.
You're not toxic.
Ultimate Alabamian American.
I haven't seen any toxic masculine behavior. So you can't.
Well, I do. I guess you basically say I'm not an asshole. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
You haven't been one to me, and I haven't seen that. You could be a complete asshole, and you could be like that with other people. I don't know. But right now, in terms of how we're communicating, we're just having a chat, and I haven't seen any of that being displayed. So I couldn't put you in that category.
Well, I'm telling you what, when we have our reality TV show, you will see a different side of me. You'll be like, that is a complete toxic masculine asshole right there. Go to your room, Joey.
Yeah. Right,
I'm going to do my shrooms.
Don't do your shrooms, Joey.
No, you're going. That was you talking. It's not me.
Yeah, that's true. Joey,
I'm not doing shrooms with you. See,
Yeah.
that's why our relationship would not work out, because one, I don't do shrooms. Two, I'm just an asshole. You don't like assholes. All right. So listen, first thing I want to say is it was a complete get off your phone.
I was literally making sure that it was on time.
Wow.
Who said it was what did you say?
I said the last 3 minutes.
Okay, which is now 3:37.
Jesus.
So I was just checking. You're looking at your phone.
I know, because I'm looking out for my guests. That's what I do. All right. So first off, I just want to say thank you very much for coming on the CTS. It's been a complete honor. I had a great time. I'm glad you wasn't so uptight. I'm glad you were just, ready to have a good time. Consider yourself part of the CTS family. Anytime you want to come back, please, you're welcome to. So tell me before you go, what's next for Nat Rich? What's next for the I Am Sound podcast?
Yeah.
Am I correct?
So yeah, you got that right. Well, I'm doing a lot of kind of rebranding at the moment. So I Am Sound comes out with our membership in June, which will be live to the public. So that's all about sound, energy, lifestyle, freedom. It's all blending all kind of conversations around spirituality and personal development. So that'll be available. I'm doing way more talks, and I have more guests coming up on my podcast for the Talkwoods, which is the awkward talks about things that matter. So I'll be having more fun conversations, and I'm going live in a studio. So I've actually got a studio in London now, which we're putting together. So I'll be live from a studio rather than at home here in the south of England. And yeah, that's it. I guess nothing much. Not much you can do in COVID, is there?
I'm gonna tell you what, that's our time for today. But I'm gonna tell you what, you probably got 10 times more stuff in your little brain that did not come out right.
My little brain and my little podcast and my little thing. I love how.
Okay, what I meant to say was, you probably have let me write this. See, okay, you probably have more considerable unused capacity that you have not used yet. That still didn't come out right. You know what? Okay, look, the bottom line is this. I'm trying to be nice. You're a very, very nice human being. You're very educated. You seem like you're a very tough human being. I'm glad that you came on. Thank you for coming on. And I'm lost for words, because this woman is not a taker. I mean, she's pretty much let me know straight up, like, hey, I can take your shit, and not only that, I will throw it back at you.
I will give it back to you. I will package it up and give it back to you. And thank you for letting me be on your show as well on CTS and being part of the CTS family. I really appreciate it. And I said yes because I like random conversations, and I knew this was going to be one of those random conversations, and that's what makes it interesting. So I appreciate your time, Joey.
With that said, she said it in the English accent, and damn, that was kind of sexy. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Sunday interview. Thank you very much, Nat. Everybody else, Nat, stay on the line. Everybody else,
thank you.
Hit that little subscribe button thing you see right here.
Yeah.
Well, don't hit the subscribe button, but hit it like down there, and like our show, do something. I don't know. I got kids to feed. Anyway, Nat, stay on the line. Everybody else, I'll see you next Sunday.